All right. Welcome, one and all, to the Off the Rails Sports Podcast. I am John, and if you can, please hit that like and subscribe button. Appreciate it a lot. Leave a comment. I do my best when I'm not out hanging with Mark Sanchez for the weekend. When in that free time, I love responding to your comments. How you doing today, Brian? Brian is coming from the middle of Workout Central. God, you start the Monday off such a good way. Look at that.
Yeah, here I am, but I got out here and I forgot my coffee.
Oh,
I'm gonna try to get
oh,
through this though.
oh my God. Wow. So it might be a short segment, everybody. All right, let's review what happens in the world of baseball. We were talking about it on Thursday. I was wondering, is there going to be a hangover for division winners? Not so much. I think the only thing I could really say about the Blue Jays is they didn't kick the second extra point yesterday against New York. Only scored 13 runs. Boy, being a Red Sox fan, seeing the Yankees getting beaten like a seal pup on an ice float by a killer whale brings me such happiness. But man, at some point, I want to call the mercy roll. How about yourself, Brian?
Hey, that's why baseball doesn't have the mercy rule. You got to get the outs. You got
Yeah,
to get the outs,
you sure as hell
no
do,
matter how
right?
long it takes you.
Right.
But you know what?
Oh,
Toronto did show their bullpen is not a super strength yesterday as well. Even though the
right,
game was long decided, I mean, they could
right.
be in trouble if a starter does get knocked out early.
Yeah. What do you think's going to happen going back to New York?
I think game three, I'll say the Yankees rise up. They kind of their backs are against the wall, kind of a thing, and they're going to come through and win game three. But then I think Toronto's going to take over and probably end up finishing the series. I just think
I
the Yankees just don't have enough. They're not as they ended up what the number one wild card
right.
team, but they close to 100 wins, uh, or in the 90s at least,
In the
right?
90s. Yeah, right.
Mid 90s, whatever. But they
Yeah.
just don't seem like a complete team for whatever reason. They don't seem to have all the phases working.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
They got a lot of holes in them. So the fact that they were able to win as many games as they did during the regular season, beat the Red Sox in the wild card round, good for them. But they seem like they're doing it with smoke and mirrors.
couldn't agree with you more. I think I will give total kudos to the Yankee organization because I honestly thought at the beginning of the year losing Garrett Cole, which was probably one of the five best pitchers in baseball, was going to be a detrimental, was going to be something they couldn't overcome. Max Fried stepped up, Rodon stepped up. They did make the most. I think this is where the moment of comeuppance is. The Red Sox could make them pay. I do think it's going to help them a lot having Max Fried go. I thought he was just magnificent against the Red Sox, even though he did get the loss. Um,
They got
sometimes you just can't
they got
overcome
the
it,
loss
right?
yesterday.
Oh, I guess
So
he got knocked out so quick I didn't even know. Sorry.
yeah.
Good show prep, John.
So
Good
he's
show
he's
prep.
he's not pitching in the three games in New York, so that's
Oh
not going
well,
to
he
be
better
good.
have a brother.
Yeah.
All right. God, I feel a little inadequate now.
That's
I
all.
turned the game on like in
We
the
all miss
fourth
one
inning.
once in a while.
Yeah, you're too kind. Oh, that's why we have Brian, so he can actually keep me straight on my baseball misinformation. All right. Let's roll into Seattle and talk about the Mariners. They got a split of the first two, but yesterday, Polanco hits two home runs off of Skubal, who seemed to actually be dealing. I think that was the biggest thing I could take away from that game. But they also got their first playoff win since the year '01. Y2K, Brian. Y2K. What did you think about those first two games?
Uh, so yeah, Detroit pulls the upset in game one, if you want to call it an upset, whatever. They went on the road in game one. Yesterday, they got their ace going, the guy who is an ace, and a little surprised that at 97 pitches, but this is me, right? That they
Yep.
didn't send Skubal out for the eighth.
Right.
And, he was at 97 pitches. He can go out there for an eighth inning, get himself to 110, 112. And AJ Hinch chose to take him out, and that eighth inning guy gives up what turns out to be the game-winning run. I don't know.
I know how you feel about it. I was watching that and I thought Skubal was stealing, right? I mean, he was just magnificent, except for the two solo home runs by Polanco. But now here's what I was thinking is he's trying to save him a little for game five. That's what I was thinking. If you go to 112, maybe he's not. I mean, yeah, I know it's the playoffs, the adrenaline's flowing. What do you thought? What say
He's
you?
well in this era, though. You have to realize it's not the 70s and the 80s anymore, where your
Oh,
guy's going to pitch game one, four, and seven. He's only going to
yeah,
pitch two games in the series. So if he's pitching in five or six, he's only going to pitch one more time.
right.
I'd hold off. I'd go for the sure win now. Then you're up 2-0 going home. Come on.
Yeah, different series. Are you saying, or what are you telling me, my friend? Are you saying I have to get rid of my members only jacket and puka necklace? I mean, I don't know. 70s and 80s still live. Okay, Shangri-La forever. All right, let's head over to the third division series. The Milwaukee Brewers clubbed the Chicago Cubs, bringing back Boyd real on very little rest. Jackson Churio, the superstar in making for Milwaukee, might be out for game two. We don't know. What did you think about that series, Brian?
Well, so far it's only been one game, thanks to the
Yeah.
great MLB scheduling. But I mean, hey,
Yes,
The Brewers just had a whole week off. They need a day after that first game.
they do. They got to rest, okay? They're drinking beer, they're coming down the slide, they're doing all that stuff,
Let,
okay? They
let
got a
me let
lot
me
going
guess.
on.
Let me guess. After game two, they're going to have a day off for a travel day to go back to Chicago. It's like an hour and a half away, right?
That's it. It's
Okay.
it. 90 miles. Yes, exactly.
All right.
Hey, MLB, they've got it all figured out. Don't you fret about that,
Uh,
right?
but
Detroit's going all the way across the country to get to Seattle, but we got to make sure that 90 miles we give them a day off. Don't you worry about it. You still think the Brewers are taking that series?
oh yeah, for sure. I mean, they look like the time off didn't hurt them.
No, sure didn't. It sure.
So,
I was surprised how good the division winners looked after the time off. I always worry about that hangover effect. You haven't really played a baseball game in a week. These guys are so used to every day getting out there and grinding, but it didn't seem to affect most of the home teams.
no, they're doing all right. They're doing all right,
The kids are
except for
all
the
right.
Phillies.
Yeah, let's get to the Phillies. Talking about the Dodgers. Oh boy, here we go. I need another shot of vodka here.
Yeah, I missed mine.
All right. I'm watching the Dodger game. They're down 3-2. Phillies are in the seventh inning. I'm thinking to myself, God, yes, we're going to shut this down. I will say, for the record, even though I always say Otani is the best player ever, the two favorite teams I have are the Red Sox and whoever's playing the Dodgers. Okay? I'm an American League guy. Um, and I was thinking, okay, Phillies are just going to smash down here. Oh, wait, got a couple guys on base. Teoscar Hernandez, don't worry, we're going to whiff this cat. Oh, sorry, launch. Boy, in the stands, that's it. There's your 5-3 victory. What did you think of that first game?
Well, my biggest takeaway is that how could Otani not end up throwing a no-hitter in his first playoff appearance as a pitcher? I mean, come
He
on.
was dealing. He was
Way to let the world down.
perfect game, Brian. Perfect game for the perfect player.
It
Okay.
should have been, right?
You have to be impressed with his first playoff pitching start. 9 strikeouts, 6 innings. The guy was dealing. I
He
mean,
gave up 3 runs.
especially, I understand. I didn't say it was
Well,
Sandy Koufax's perfect game, okay? But honestly, to only allow 2 runs in that bandbox with the way they were juiced up, ready to go, I thought it was just a really a magnet. I will say this: I doubt there's going to be a Dodger starter in the rest of this series who only allows 2 runs in 6 innings against
I
this lineup.
hope. I hope
The
you're right.
Phillies are good. What?
I hope you're right.
Yeah, right. Yeah, anything to get the Phillies through to the
But
championship series,
yeah, a
huh?
little disappointed that the Phillies didn't come out more Blue Jay-esque.
That would have been
Yeah,
nice. Let's see.
yeah.
We both picked the Phillies, so we both need a little love and a little help there. Anything else you want to talk about it that was going on in the playoffs?
Oh, yeah, my 0 for 4 on
Yeah.
the wild card picks is still
Yeah.
kind of bugging me.
Okay.
So I feel like I'm not even worthy of being here right now. Who am I
Brian,
to talk about baseball? I don't know what's going on.
you told me Max Fried was the starter in game 2. Okay. That's
Well,
why
I
you're
can read a
needed.
box
Okay.
score.
Obviously, I can't. We work well together. Hey, Brian, I really killed it. I went 500. I went 2 for 2 and 2. and and honestly, looking at my NL my picks, I got the Cubs and the Phillies and the Mariners in New York. That New York thing isn't going to work well. I don't think that's going to age really,
Yeah,
really like fine wine, huh?
don't worry, I'll remind you of it.
I know you will, and you should. You should just beat me over the head like the Blue Jays are beating the Yankees over the head. Um, to to get a little to the side here, what do you think free agency is going to be like, real quick? I mean, we have the contract, the MLB contract with the players is up at the end of next year. Do you think we're going to have a wild and rollicking free agency? This is the last chance, possibly before a salary cap comes in, that the players get to bite of the apple.
Maybe. I mean, I wouldn't bank on a salary cap coming in. Everybody says it's inevitable, but they've been saying it's inevitable for a long time.
True.
Uh, there might be some new stipulations worked in there, like they have with the
Tax.
luxury tax thing, but
Hmm.
I don't think the salary cap's coming. I think
Yeah.
it's going to be kind of similar to the way it's gone the past few years, and that is your biggest gun is probably going to get signed, fairly early, and then all the middle level
Mid
free
tier. Mid
agents,
tier. Yeah.
those ones who could be very valuable pieces to a lot of teams, are going to
Sure.
get stuck, and they're going to be in this waiting game. And last couple of years we've had a lot of guys not even signing till midway through spring training,
Right.
which is a detriment to not only the player but the team as well.
Right.
I bet it's probably going to go similar to that pace. I saw some things, and how true they are at this point, you don't know for sure because everybody's trying to leak something or jump the gun on a story. But Alonso says he's opting out already.
Right.
Uh, Breg, well, we heard from Bregman's agent
Yeah.
that the Red Sox better come up with an offer, even though he's under contract. I don't know what that means. Probably means he's
Player
opting out.
option, buddy. Player option. Player option.
So it's probably going to be some stuff like that happening again. What'll be interesting is a lot of these young guys that have come up recently, like you mentioned Jackson Churio and uh, some of the some of these other young kids that are coming up. Are they going to get those nice extensions like we saw the Red
Right.
Sox give to Roman Anthony?
Right.
Are some of those kids going to get their extensions? Because that might have a bigger play on ultimately the free agent market.
Right.
Are you going to lock up a lot of your salary money on those guys,
Right.
paying them, 12 mil a year,
Right.
and that's going to cut into your opportunity to pay someone 40?
That is
So,
true, especially for a small market, right?
yeah. So we'll see how those things go. Because,
Yeah.
those younger players that are coming up that are just so athletic, all these guys going back the last few years, Ellie De La Cruz, O'Neal Cruz, Ellie De La Cruz, Jackson
Hmm.
Churio, uh, Cronenworth, and the kid in Arizona, whatever his name is.
Carroll.
Yeah, Corbin Carroll, Roman Anthony, and all these guys. There's a future right there. So
Absolutely.
you want to lock those guys up, and then
Yeah.
you don't necessarily need to go out and spend money on that 35-year-old guy who's got 2 years left.
Yeah. Yeah. There's been a lot of examples of signing the guys early. I do think Churio signed an extension last year, like in his first week in the major leagues. But I understand what you're talking about. We have players like Neto for the Angels. We have Paul Skeens. Are these guys going to sign, or are they going to be the next potential wave of free agents? I don't know how that all plays out. I mean, honestly, if you're a player and you've been in the major leagues for 2 years, it's hard to turn down 100 million. I mean, I am fascinated by anybody who can say no thanks. I'm not going to do that. I mean, really, I don't care if Scott Boras is your agent. I mean, you don't know if you're going to get to free agency. I mean, you literally can get life-changing generational money. How do you say no? I remember when back in the day, the first guy I really remember who did that was Salvador Perez. And that that tells you how old I am. Is he signed like a 6 year, $50 million deal, and I was like, I thought he was undervaluing himself, but I was then and you think, how do you turn down that cash? I mean, really,
Right.
on any level. But yeah, to your point, you're right. That's exactly what they're doing. And I wish the Red Sox would do it. One little question: we actually parted ways with four players. Giolito was bye bye. We knew that was coming. I was surprised. The one player I was surprised we got rid of, Steven Matz. I thought he was a really effective left-hander, especially down the stretch. Any thoughts on that?
I
No.
didn't even remember he was on the team.
Oh man. You know, I this is like a scene out of the movie Memento where you literally forget it after the Red Sox season ends. I don't even know who's on the team anymore. I have no concept. Oh, God
Wasn't
bless
wasn't
you.
he a guy that was always on the Mets injured list?
Yes. He was going to be one of their big four. Yeah, back with him and Batman. Matt Harvey. Yes, back in the day. I think Matt Harvey is still serving time for some of that amphetamine use, but let's move on. All right. That's it for today from Off the Rail Sports Podcast. Is there anybody right now? I want to know. We're going to get out of here in 30 seconds. If you could change any of your picks, you had Brewers, Phillies, Mariners, Toronto. If you could change any of those picks, who would you pick right now?
The only one I would flip flop on would be the Tigers and the Mariners.
Oh, you think the Tigers are going to take the series?
They might. No, I'm sticking with the Mariners, but I'm saying if I
Well,
was going to
that's what I'm
flip on
asking.
one, I'm not going to flip. But if I
Okay,
was going to
okay.
flip on one, that's the one that I think is I'm questioning the most.
You're right. So you're still down with the Phillies?
Yes, yes,
Okay, okay,
100%.
okay. Didn't want to see if you're a bandwagon. Okay, I didn't know if I had to rip up your Red Sox, you know, club card. All right, if you could, anybody out there, please hit that like and subscribe button, leave a message, and we'll talk to you soon on Off the Rails Sports Podcast.